Good morning, Brian with Grand Roofing. I've got a different video because these tend to do a little bit better, and I want your guys' honest opinion in the comments down below at the end of the video. So a little bit of the backstory. I got a call out here to look at this roof because they were told by another contractor there was hail damage and they should file a claim, trying to push them that direction. They got kind of a weird feeling over it, so they started asking around. They heard about me. I came out to give them my honest opinion of it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not a storm restoration company. I'm not a guy that deals directly and solely with insurance claims. I've been installing for like 19 years, so I have kind of an idea of differences in shingles and kind of damage what we're going to see on this roof. So hopefully you find some good out of this. If you want to comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Just keep it nice. But a little bit of backstory, what I know is the roof is about 7 years old. Somebody was right up off my shoulder here, an insulation company removed a power fan, put a piece of wood in, patched it in, and spray foam the underneath side of the decking, which I'm not a fan of, and that's a whole nother topic I'd like to ask your guys' opinion on. But outside of the video, this video we're looking for hail damage because the insulation company said you got hail damage and you should file a claim. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look around the roof, give you my opinion of what I think it is, what I see, and the inconsistencies and consistencies of where the damage is. Probably try to run down, maybe look at the soft metal, the gutter downspouts, things like that real quick. Give it a thumbs up on the way in. Let's switch camera around and see what we can see and get your opinion on what this is. I imagine I'm going to have a mixed bag of comments. There's going to be contractors saying definitely hail damage, file a claim. Probably have a handful of the insurance side saying no, that's an honest roofer right there. I don't know. I'm not looking for anything special, but want to share my opinion of what I'm seeing here. So looking at the area here, you can clearly see the patched area they put in. You can see a little bit of a soft spot where the decking might be just a little bit lower. There's a little bit of a bump there. I don't know if they plugged it, if they went from rafter rack, whatever. The point of the video is somebody was up here working. So I want to pan out here a little bit. I'll switch between my optical lenses here so we can see what I'm going to point out. Knowing somebody is up here, and by the way, another little point I want to point out, when you install a roof, you want to install it when it's warm, not in the winter. You be cautious some other various things if you have like a lot of agricultural field dust in the fall harvest season blowing up, and believe me, it's bad in the fall, and you can get it up under your seal strips and cause them not to seal. So just again, out of the video, just be aware of the time of year you're installing. You want it to be warm, but you don't want it to be super hot, especially if it's a little more pitchy, because you can actually cause damage walking on the roof on a hot day. With that being said, it ties into the repair here. If you look at this, knowing somebody was here, we're going to see a little bit more of a discoloration, like a half donut right around this little work site right here. We'll get up tight and then we'll back out, go a little bit farther, and imagine a bigger donut, and you're not going to see that discoloration here. So what I'm talking about is where somebody was probably up here working. What we're looking at, see, I got a 6 optical zoom here, 0.6. You can see just some inconsistency, and look, it's kind of wore out on the bottom edges, maybe a high side right here, nothing symmetrical, it's all linear. Probably typically where somebody was up here working, a boot maybe, a cushion, direct pressure in those areas, scuffing them off. Things like this to me don't look like hail. I know I'm going to get the comments, I'm prepared already, but I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Hail can be very subjective. Like, could one argue that might be a little of a half round area where a hailstone hit? It's very potential. But if you zoom out and look at the whole thing here, to me, there's a high traffic area where somebody was knowingly up here 2 weeks ago repairing this. Which, by the way, the repair, I mean, they sealed it, but yeah, oof. Okay, let's back out just outside of the size of somebody up there working. We're just about 4 feet down. We're gonna kind of draw an arc around this area. I don't see any of that same consistent damage. Do you guys? Let me know your honest opinion. Nothing. Nothing on here in this whole area. Oh, no, hail damage. I'm gonna have somebody say that. Back up, Brian, that's hail damage, file a claim. I look at this, if I was the insurance company, would I wanna pay for something that's not storm damage? And believe me, I don't want to buy my roof because I pay buku bucks on insurance, but I'm looking at this at both sides. I'm not going to have my opinion skewed on one because of money. Money's not going to skew my decision on what I really think this is. With that being said, let's look at this section over here because there's another big consistency on that right there. Let's look at that. So we're going to look at the gable end, the valley, and the field. We'll zoom in closer. If you can see on this 0.6 optical zoom, I see some more asphalt showing across the top here. Let's just try to do a 3x optical zoom and hold the camera still. You see the amount of black showing through there, and you notice the consistency. It's in the top 3 to 4 feet all the way across that top ridge. Why is that? if hail were going to hit this section, it's going to hit it pretty sporadic evenly throughout. It's not going to choose one little high traffic area. Notice the high traffic area here. When you got a guy installing on a hot summer day, typically they're going to have the equipment. You might put nail boards, toe boards in, walk boards, jacks, cushions, whatever, but point being, they're going to flow through an area of the field a whole lot quicker than a top area that takes detail finish up work. So all this is heating up. The ridge is usually one of the last things, should be the last thing to be done. So when you got guys up here working, as I am right now, standing on this, and they're putting this ridge vent on, they're working across this top over that way, notice the damaged pattern. Notice the inconsistency of round symmetrical hail strikes. It's a lot of linear lines. There's a bigger area, maybe a boot somebody had stood right there. None of this to me looks like hail. The other thing, a good sized hail strike is not going to take off just granules, but probably fracture the mat of the shingle. Oh, yep, no, Brian, back up. That's hail damage. That's hail damage. File a claim. No. Consistent across top. Nothing down here. Nothing in the field out here. Looking out over this side, notice something here. I don't see much of anything of that discolored look across any of this. We got to ask yourself a logical question. As an installer, where I'm standing, why am I standing here? Because I'm in an area that's flatter. It's a 612 versus an 812. More importantly, it's 2-story fall off of this. So if I had my option of working as an installer, I'd prefer to be on this side, not that side. In the valley, high traffic area, notice the ladder. Sorry, I had a call come in, I had to ignore before it ruined the video. By the way, the ladder's the Homeowner's. He already had it back up here because I know a lot of you guys like to comment about that. My ladder's in the truck. I got the Standoff, so he already had it out. But the high traffic area up near the valley versus outside, I don't see any of that discolored look. And again, I see it consistent across the top. I know you're probably getting annoyed at me already by this, but let's look at hail impacts too, typically in a direction of impact. Predominant storms come out of this direction. They're going to blast this side right here, and all of their energy is going to be impacting this with a lot of the force directly into it, as opposed to, say, the eastern slope. Let's look at that. Keep that in mind. Hold that thought. That hail is going to come down at that same angle, and it's going to impact at a much shallower angle and dissipate the energy over a greater period of the roof. It's not going to impact it at a right angle to the roof. So you're not going to see typically as much damage if the storm was blowing to the east pretty good. I mean, if hail's coming straight down, you're going to see it consistent everywhere. But if it's blowing at all, typically when those storms come in, those supercells come flying through, you're not going to see the damage on those opposing slopes that way. So you should see more damage on these sides scattered about, and I'm not seeing it. Pretty much this whole field is good until you get up near the top. Again, at the top where they're doing their last final detail work, you're going to see these scuff marks. You're going to see areas where they're probably standing and working. Get out of those high traffic areas, and there's nothing. Same here on this one. Looks pretty consistent. And then about right here in the middle over, I see some more consistency of wear from an installer or something. I guess subjectiveness. It could be wear and tear just on the edge from the elements, but to me that does not look like hail damage. I mean, sure, yeah, one could argue things like that could be due to thermal shock, but I can tell you that does not look to be. And again, the biggest consistency in this is the majority of what I'm seeing showing asphalt is in a high traffic or a detail work at the end of the install of the job. Oh, I feel like I covered what I wanted to cover. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm not the kind of guy that goes and door knocks. Actually, I've never door knocked. I don't do that. It's not my model. And I'm not saying the guys that do are bad, so don't think I'm saying that. I guess my opinion is, or my question is I know there's guys out there in any industry that get skewed by the money. They will try to turn everything and anything into insurance, and if it doesn't go through, no harm on them. They typically aren't going to even bother following up with the customer. Sometimes they do, not always. I'm not saying those guys are bad. There's good guys out there, there's bad guys out there in any industry. But what I'm talking about with this, an installation guy doing this, kind of wearing out the section here is my thought of what it looks like to me. It's not even a thought, it's what it looks like. That's what the evidence looks to me. The high traffic areas across all the top ridges, when they're doing the final detail work, they're a little more wore out. You know, soft metal, I didn't see anything. Let's try to walk down over here real quick. You're gonna be looking typically at the face of the gutters, the top lip of the gutter here. Usually you can see a little bit of damage. We'll go down below too. Look at the downspouts down the side. Most of the time you can see if there is, and then typically putting a piece of chalk over, you're gonna see it pop. I just don't see much, and I know right now, timestamp, 10 minutes, 50 some seconds. Brian, you missed it. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. The gutter downspouts. Okay, now legitimately I do see one little ding about 6 inches up from that seam right there on the right corner. So I do see one. Let's continue back down. Some other things I'm going to look for. I don't usually look at anything down below because it could be from a lawnmower, kids and things, usually about chest height up or so. Try to block us so you can see here without the sun. But looking up this, I don't see any dings in this. It's gonna be hard to focus for you guys to see, but I don't see anything. I don't even see a need to even get the chalk out for it. Just trigger this other side out of the sun. Screens, that's something else I was gonna point out. I've seen hail damages 2017 Westfield area, and it would literally destroy this or even leave little impressions, little oxidized areas, and I don't see any of that on there. I don't see any oxidized marks or impact marks down the hardy board and paint. Sometimes on doors, garage doors, if they're old, and this is facing west, you would see it, and I don't see any of those classic looking marks on this. Again, you're looking right up these edges. I hope the camera can focus good on that. My screen's black, I can't see it right now. But I don't see any. I know I'm gonna get the comments, I'm gonna get the hate, I'm gonna catch the flack for it. I'll probably get some good contractors to be like, yes, I agree. Hail damage can be subjective. Is it hail damage? If I'm gonna err out on one side or another, I wanna err in the favor of, yes, it's definitely hail damage, then let's just turn it in. And if the insurance denies it, then peace out later, I'm never gonna deal with you again. That's not me. Hopefully you guys have got that by now, but I do wanna get your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Some maybe things I forgot to miss or forgot or missed, didn't do, what you look for. Grill covers, hot tub, jacuzzi covers, things like that I've seen damage in before too. Generator top cover. A lot of this, I mean, nothing here looks impact. It looks more like just a moldy mildew. Nothing very bad at all. The soft metal usually, the gutters, the aluminum vents if you got them, the box vents, turtle vents if you got them. Gutter downspouts, if I said that, maybe I did, I don't know. Screens, paint, I don't see it. It's just mechanical damage is what it looks like to me. I hope the video helped. If it did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts down below. I don't think I forgot anything. I imagine there's going to be a mix of comments I'm just going to want to ignore. I imagine I'm probably going to get the majority of the good ones, or some really good reputable contractors or the insurance adjusters be like, hey, there is a good honest contractor out there. Now on the flip side, I've seen a lot of insurance adjusters be like, nope, not hail damage. Like LaFontaine, big hailstorm, 2018 I think it is. The entire town got, I mean, it was obvious, big hail, busted through ridge cap. And a company come out and be like, nope, not hail damage. So there's good and there's bad on both sides. Like I said, very clearly, you have good and bad in every industry. But money skews people's opinion big time. That's my thought, that's my 2 cents. Let me know your thoughts down below. Until next time, be safe, and we'll see you on the next video.